What's going on, everybody? It's your boys over No Days Off DFS here to bring you that National Blowout Association breakdown on this 8-game NBA slate. There's 10 NBA games, but of course, DraftKings and all their wisdom and everything, they are only going to give us 8 of them, which I don't mind considering the piss poor bullshit that I had to watch yesterday. So, if you guys are new here, and you guys are enjoying the content, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you guys don't miss any of the content that I do put out that is actually useful, good, and does not follow the script of a fucking blowout. And drop a like on the video if you guys enjoy this, or better yet, drop a like on this video if you are tired of the blowouts that we have had to watch on national televised TV games and just period. Now, of course, as a Thunder fan, I'm not going to complain too much about the blowout that I got to see yesterday because we made history for my franchise on its own. But in the event of having a long day and just ready to sit back, drink in my hand, and enjoy some TV, watching some good games, that was far from it. You know, I really do feel like the product this year for the NBA has really been bad. I don't understand. If you guys don't want to listen to this rant, go ahead and skip forward like 5 or so minutes. But really, just I'm so tired of watching blowouts in the NBA. It's ridiculous. It's really sad. I don't understand what's going on with the product that they're putting out there, the players, the injuries. Honestly, just the not giving a fuck to go out here and actually play the fucking game and fucking win. I really don't. Boston yesterday. Y'all are down by like 30, 40. You pull your starters coming in. I understand back-to-back OT game. But from the jump, y'all didn't do shit. Y'all let Bobby fucking Bug-Eye Portis go out there and throw haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. It wasn't Dame. It wasn't Giannis. It wasn't Chris Middleton. Bobby Portis put that damn game away. Bobby! That makes no fucking sense. Now, Portland, I understand. Y'all fucking suck. I get that. I don't fault y'all. Don't blame you. New York Knickerbockers, y'all were getting your asses clapped in the first. That game should have been a national televised game over the shit show that we saw at Boston and Milwaukee. That was trash. But the New York Knicks, that game, y'all were getting blown out in the first half, going up against Dallas Mavericks with Kyrie and a bunch of C-tiers players. Jaden Hardy, Green, Derrick Jones Jr., what's that boy, Powell, Tim Hardaway, the ghost of Tim Hardaway Jr., looking like he's playing back in Atlanta. And I ain't even about to get started on the king, the fakers. I hate the Lakers so damn much. They are so bad. So bad. It's like they trick you. Every time they play, they trick you. They trick y'all to make you think that they're good. You think because they got LeBron James and all this other shit, oh, it's the Lakers. Any team with LeBron and a healthy Anthony Davis that actually try. No, fuck that shit, man. Anthony Davis. All right, you can tell I lost a little bit of money yesterday, but that's my rant. In that, yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and report it, report the channel because whoo, yesterday was shit. Going on to today, throwing that into the trash because it is every day that we do this shit. Every day that we go ahead and we try to make some money, and hopefully today will be a much better day. Yeah. Indy taking on Atlanta. Hopefully this time, this game will not be a blowout, especially because there is no Tyrese Halliburton, and maybe Atlanta can actually, put some fucking effort into playing since they are playing at home and can keep this game close because it should have some really good fantasy goodness left and right. So, of course, some injury news that we do have to pay attention to. Neesmith and Smith, definitely want to know if they're in or out. And then on the other side, Clint Capella, do need to know if he's going to be in or out. He was out last game, so we got to see Okongwu start at the center position. Trae Young, he's been game time decision past several games, dealing with a shoulder injury, but he has been playing, so I expect him to play. He hasn't missed a game yet with that. Houston, still without no Dylan Brooks, Tari Eason. Detroit. No Cade, that's pretty much it. For the Kings, no Kevin Huerter. Maybe no Kevin Huerter, but fucking Red Velvet trash ass, he sucks too. Philly, Joel Embiid, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but he's definitely not winning MVP this season. He's out again. Rocco is out as well. Kenny Lofton Jr., who they just signed, is out as well. Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green is still going to be held out. Moses Moody is out as well. So we should see Pod or the trash can of Andrew Wiggins slid into the starting lineup for the Chicago. You know what? That's what it is. We got too much fucking trash in the NBA still. Some of these players don't even need to be in the league. That's the problem. That is the problem. That's the issue right there. Get rid of some of these players, man. Chicago Bulls, Torian Craig is out, but they got their starters. They got their guys back. Zach LaVine popping off in his game back in the starters, and Vooch doing his thing as well. Orlando, they're still dealing with injuries themselves, but Franz Wagner, he's still out. Wendell Carter Jr. game time decision. Gary Harris, Isaac, they are still out as well. Over for the Miami Heat, Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, they're both game time decisions. Definitely want to know if they're going to be in or out. Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry looks like they're doubtful to play once again. Jesus Christ. Portland, back end of a back-to-back. Ayton still out. Sharp, game time decision. Everyone else, all these players have been out. They've been out. Back end of back-to-back, going to get their asses clapped in another game, going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. 15.5-point spread. 10,000% agree with the 15.5-point spread, because there's no way in hell the Minnesota Timber Pups lose to the Portland Trailblazers. Like, just doesn't make any sense. Charlotte taking on the San Antonio Spurs. This game definitely is interesting because there's a possibility that LaMelo could play today, which I hope he does ramp it up within the next week, because like I said, I'm going to go see him play in like 2 weeks or so cannot wait to see that game. But biggest thing is LaMelo might be back for today. Gordon Hayward and Mark Williams are still out for the Spurs. Zach Collins is still out, and Wemby is still on a minute limit, but shouldn't matter because Wemby could come out here and legit dominate and destroy in this game. And last game that's going to be covered on Slate is the Clippers taking on the ghost of the Memphis Grizzlies. DBT is out for the Clippers, and over here in the Memphis Grizzlies, they're without Ja Morant for the rest of the season. Marcus Smart is out as well now for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So we are literally back to exactly what the Memphis Grizzlies were to start the season, with no Marcus Smart, no Derrick Rose, and no Ja Morant. So no true point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies again. All the uses for Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. As you guys could tell, last night, I didn't go ahead and dive into nothing. This was going to be a first look, me going ahead and touching on everything as I go through it. And you guys are gonna get it pretty much raw, uncut. And as I look through my stats and everything, that's how we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll for today. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this and I don't lose any subs because, yeah, it's kind of a it is what it is type day. One thing I will say, that all these games, they start at 7:30, so don't forget that you have 30 minutes extra to go ahead and get all the injury news, which today we should have all news today for this slate. It shouldn't be a hectic, crazy slate, but knowing some of these teams, we still will. The one team that I do wish that all these teams could emulate, and I'm surprised I'm even going to say this, but the Orlando Magic. They are the one team that is so good, giving us the injury report and their starting lineup 2 hours before lock. Guarantee you, by 5:36 tonight, you will have the starting lineup and the injury report for the Orlando Magic. They do it every single day. Every single time they're on the slate. I love it. I'm grateful, very thankful for them for that, because it definitely gives us an idea of what we're going to do. All right, so going over here to the Indiana Pacers taking on the Atlanta Hawks. This game right here, of course, has stacked potential. Definitely a game that I'm going to have a lot of interest in, as a lot of people should have some interest, because we do not have any Tyrese Halliburton once again. And then, of course, depending on if Nesmith and if Jalen Smith are going to be out, that's definitely going to be some more minutes for players like Obi Toppin, for Isaiah Jackson, and for Miles Turner. Now, this is a pretty decent matchup. We recently did see this matchup when they last played on the 5th, where literally and he blew them out of the water. Miles Turner went out there and dropped 42 fantasy points in 22 minutes. So, of course, Miles Turner is definitely in play. I do have him graded out as a really great play. If Jalen Smith is going to actually be in and is not going to be limited or anything like that, I don't mind him. But I will say I got another power forward that I'd rather go to, and some other centers that I'd rather target on today's slate. If Nesmith is going to be out, and with no Tyrese Halliburton, I do believe that Bruce Brown, his usage and everything goes up. He can actually handle some ball handling responsibilities, can also dish to Rock as well. He has 6 assists in that last game. So I definitely do think that uptick in regards to his usage is really huge and big. And I will say one of the props that they had put on the board last time when he was on the slate was they put his fantasy score at like 23 or something like that. I would definitely smash the over on that, especially in this matchup going up against the Atlanta Hawks, who we do know bleed points to opposing guards. And definitely, with all the usage and everything that he's going to have, I can see him definitely hitting and going over that. Nembhard, he was chalk on the last slate out there. I want to say he was like 30-something% ownership, was value play, sitting there at 5.2, did not deliver at all. This is going to be one of those players, of course, like I talk about every single time whenever it happens. You burn me, no one's going to want to go to him. The dude shot poorly. 1 of 8, 0 of 1 from 3. He still had 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 rebounds, just did not score or do anything in the scoring department. Now, if you look at it, his game logs, what he's done, he has not played the Hawks at all this season, but opposing point guards have done very well. Tyrese Maxey just lit them up for 67 fantasy points. Now, if you want to take this with a grain of salt, think, okay, maybe TJ McConnell is going to get the burn and run and go out there and do it. Yes, TJ McConnell 10,000% can. I definitely understand playing TJ McConnell, but TJ McConnell is 7K. I'm not going to play TJ McConnell for 7K when I can come here and get a Bruce Brown for 5.6. I can get a Nembhard for 5.6 as well. And you're literally hoping that TJ McConnell at that 7K in his 22, because he's not going to play more than I'll cap him at 25 just because that's the last thing that he played going up against Boston. He's not going to play that many minutes unless he is starting. Unless he's the starter, he's not gonna get that. Now at 7K, I'm literally going to want a 30 plus fantasy point game. 30, 35 is really, I'm going to be stingy. I'm going to be greedy on that. I'm not going to mess with that. He's not starting. It's definitely going to be a GPP play because maybe he might come in lower owned just because of the price hike on him being 7K. He's sitting right at the edge of what I consider a stud whenever you're going through a slate. So yeah, I just don't see myself paying 7K for a bench player, even though he has a high usage. And then outside of that, if you want to mess with Buddy Hield, another GPP option. Last game out there, dude went out there 19 minutes, 9.25 fantasy points. So definitely a bounce back spot position for him. And then last but not least, where is my boy at? Mathurin, there you are. 6'4", Bennett Mathurin, 28 minutes in the last game, 26.25 fantasy points. Definitely can see him doing a lot more. Last time playing against Atlanta, 18 minutes, dropped 28.75 fantasy points. Of course, you know I'm going to tell him as another GPP playing option. But the best plays over here to me from Indy is going to be Miles Turner, Bruce Brown, and Nembhard. Nembhard really for that bounce back position and spot. Really do think that he will be able to make us back the coin that he lost us the last time he was on the slate. And literally, I sat there and I played him. Going over to the other side for the Atlanta Hawks. Of course, if we get word that Clint Capella is going to be out, then I'm going to want to go ahead and play Onyeka Okongwu. Besides Onyeka Okongwu, I will go right back to Jalen Johnson because his rebounds skyrocket with no Clint Capella. They're already pretty good with Clint out there playing, but the dude is a rebound merchant. He goes out there, he hawks those boards. He sometimes takes them from his center, and he's a very good fantasy point per minute producer and player whenever he is on the court. He owes me some coin from the last time that he played going up against the Pacers. As you can see, 29 minutes, gave me 29 fantasy points, could have gave me a lot more, shot 5 of 11. I'm not going to say that he's going to go out here and have a lights out shooting night. 25 points, that game did go to OT against Philly, 41 minutes, dropped 64 fantasy points. I am still right back on the train. One of my lower tier step players that I have no problem going right back to. Really do like going to him. DeJounte Murray, as you know, he is in trade rumors to possibly go back to the San Antonio Spurs. You see the boys going ahead and he's going to get his stock up. Don't mind or hate him at 7.2. Another really great play. Trae Young, as I've always said it before, he finds a way to claw, scratch, and get his way there to getting you close to 50 fantasy points. You could definitely go there, but I will say my more preferred players will be DeJounte Murray, Jalen Johnson, and Onyeka Okongwu if Clint Capella is out. And another deep GPP option play that you can always go to for some reason. He kind of does come in lower on most slates. That's that boy Sadiq Bey. Him as well. 30 minutes, 2 for 7 out there against the Pacers, 17 fantasy points. Another player that you can go to, possibly could get him at a low ownership, and I do not mind or hate getting that value that you can get right there. Now, going over to the Sacramento Kings, taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Very interested in this game just simply because, of course, no Joel Embiid. The Kings, they're very flippy-floppy up and down in regards to the product and what they can go out here and produce. For a time being in that Detroit game, they were getting their asses clapped, blown out big. But, of course, it's Detroit. They're not going to be able to hold the league. And, of course, they didn't. So, whenever it comes down to it, looking at it, honestly, don't mind Sabonis going out there up against Paul Reed defense. He has, of course, been the one consistent factor over here for the studs on the Kings, besides De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox, you never know what kind of De'Aaron Fox you're going to get. He's definitely due for a bounce back game. I can see him being a very much a low-owned GPP type play. Currently looking at 5% ownership for De'Aaron Fox. Really don't mind him as a legit GPP option, but not a must play. If I do take something from over here, it will be Aaron Fox. And of course, I'm going to have to talk about my boy Malik Monk. Man, off the bench. Back-to-back 41-35 fantasy point games, playing close to 30 daggone minutes, practically plays 30 minutes whenever he's out there. They've been having some issues at that 2-guard spot anyway between Kevin Huerter and Chris Duarte. Neither one of those guys really produce whenever they're out there on the court anyway. Malik Monk at 6'2", I understand it's a little bit hard to price to swallow, but if I got to choose a bench player that I'm going to play, I'll take the player that's going to play 30 minutes in a game versus the player that is 7K on the Indiana Pacers that's not going to start. So that would be my justification. If I take anything over here from the Kings, it definitely would be Sabonis if I take something. But other than that, De'Aaron Fox for a GPP option if you want to mess with that and go there. Of course, no Joel Embiid, so all 76ers are in play. Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, De'Anthony Melton, Kelly Oubre Jr., Paul Reed if you want to mess with that and go there. Marcus Morris Sr., Nick Batum, all these guys are in consideration. But of course, if I'm going to have to take anything, it is going to be my boy Tyrese Maxey. The usage is going to be there. As you guys seen last game going up against the Atlanta Hawks. 67 fantasy points in 43 minutes. Really do like the upside for him. Was out there scoring, was out there dishing the rock, looking very good over his last several games. And I don't mind going right back to that right here if I got to take something. Outside of Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, of course, him with no Joel Embiid, he's definitely stepped up over the last couple of games with no Embiid, and I think that's going to, not even think, I know that should actually continue here again. I don't mind him at 7-2, but if I do have a preferred play, it would be Tyrese Maxey between the two. Definitely just the matchup wise. I know Tobias shouldn't have any issues with Keegan Murray or Harris, the ghost of Harrison Barnes, another trash ass player that should be out of the league. I don't even understand why he's not playing in China yet. GPP option, of course, is Kelly Oubre Jr. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think he plays better with Embiid in the lineup than he does without Embiid in the lineup. And honestly, that might just be matchup dependent or something like that. But I just don't feel like Kelly Oubre plays the best without Embiid in the lineup. I don't know what it is in regards to it, but might also be the fact of also Melton being back too. That could also be a factor in regards to it. But if I take anything over here from the 76ers, it would definitely just be Tyrese Maxey would be the main guy I look to. Tobias Harris has a 1B option, and then a GPP chance on Nick Batum or Marcus Morris Sr. Either one of these guys would be something I would take a chance on over there. Houston taking on Detroit Pistons. This should be a pretty, hopefully, I hope it's not a blowout, especially because Houston's on the road, but possibilities of it actually being that is definitely within the cards and in the favor. Right now, 7.5 point spread for Houston, so should be at least a somewhat tight, close game. But definitely interesting. Alfred Şengün going up against Jalen Duren. Should be a decent matchup, decent game, but we have seen opposing centers have literally lit it up, especially centers that can pass, that can rebound very well, and has triple double upside, which is what Şengün comes out and brings every single time he touches the court. 46.75 fantasy points in that last game. He's another player that just seems to find his way and figure out a way to go ahead and get there and get those fantasy points that you're looking for him on a night in, night out basis. So I definitely don't mind going right back to Şengün. Freddie V would be the main two players I look to over here if I'm taking anything. Jabari Smith Jr. With players being back, he's still actually getting his minutes, which is really shocking to actually see it. I don't mind him as a GPP option. Definitely think that he goes under owned and under the radar, especially in this type of matchup. Opposing power force weak, and this is if he can actually go out here and light it up as well. We just seen Keegan Murray light them up for 49 fantasy points, and that was because he came out and was hot, scorched, firing, which is the same thing that Jabari Smith Jr. can actually go out here and do if he can actually, get the shot attempts and just knock him down. Jalen Green, GPP option. Really, I don't mess with Jalen Green. I have not played him all season. I might have played him once. It might have been a prop or something like that. But other than that, I don't mess too much with Jalen Green. It just has not been favorable for me and just not a player I want to go to. Now, a player that I've been riding, and I've been riding him in props too, Cam Whitmore. The kid, he's been getting the burn. He played 33 minutes in the last game. Really great. But he's been getting the minutes, and I've been just banking on, well, he was under 3K, under 4K, but he's at 4.3. I don't hate it, don't mind it. If they let him actually play 25 minutes in this game right here, which could possibly be an option, especially if the game was to blow out, I love the upside for Cam Whitmore. And if they put his prop up again today at 11.5, 12.5 for his rebounds, for his points and rebounds, I'll take the over on that again. That's been my wagon over the past couple of days, and he's cashed me every single time for the past 3 slates that I've actually played it. So definitely another option I would go to today would be Cam Whitmore. Love that at 4.3. Tate, don't mind that. Actually, if they were to shake up the starting lineup and take Tate out the starting lineup, I wouldn't even mind that. To me, that just means Tate definitely lost some minutes in the last game. Oh yeah, 18 minutes. I could definitely see them going with the more offensive, productive player in Cam Whitmore, who does play still decent defense as well. If they start Cam Whitmore, that's your value lock right there on the slate. Detroit Pistons, give it up to opposing small forwards, period, as it is anyway. Love that. Smash that if he goes ahead and gets starts. And if they don't even announce him as starting, as soon as he drops on the Prize Picks, Sports Battle, Underdog, whatever prop site that you play on, as soon as they drop him, if they still drop that points to rebounds prop at a 12.5, 11.5, or anything like that, take the over. I'll even take it up to 13, 14.5 if they put that. Really do love the upside for Cam Whitmore. Hopefully, I'm touting it so much. Please don't let me down, Cam. Please don't let me down. On the other side for the Detroit Pistons, you're going to have to imagine that they're going to have to somehow keep this game close. Jaden Ivey, he's been playing very well over his last couple games. Of course, no Cade Cunningham. The usage is there. He's playing 30-plus minutes. He's getting up his shots. He can definitely play, make, get some assists, get some rebounds, things like that. Don't hate, don't mind him at 6,900. No Dylan Brooks, so you don't have a lockdown defender or anything like that to go out there and mess with him. I definitely can see the upside for him. Killian Hayes, on the other hand, has definitely just piss poor let me down time and time again. I don't understand what's going on with this kid. At 5, I think I played him at 4-5, gave me 18.5 fantasy points. It was horrible. I don't understand it. Really, it's just because no scoring output coming from him. None whatsoever. Didn't even think, hasn't been really taking his threes. But today will be the day he goes ahead and change that just because I'm talking down on him. Now, a play that I wouldn't mind taking for him, and this is going to be on props, if you go ahead and you get his assist, if they put his assist line at 6.57, again, I will take the over on that, simply because he is the ball handler. He does very well in the pick and roll and just getting those plays set up for Bogdanovich to go ahead and knock down his threes, Alec Burks to splash some threes, and also in regards to just getting those lobs and things like that to Jalen Duren, very good, very well, and a cutting Jaden Ivey. Really do like the upside for him on his assist. If they put it at, I'd take it as high as 7.5, would be about as high as I would take his assist. Outside of that, not gonna really mess with too much there. Now, another play you can go ahead and take, long as he plays Bogdanovich, you know he's gonna be very much in the game, going ahead, jacking up his shots, 8 for 13, 3 or 5 from 3. If he's not really knocking down from outside or just scoring period, he's not really going to do too much for you. At 6'8", I don't hate it, but not a must play or anything like that. Like I said, main plays that we're going to be taking over here is going to be your boy Jalen Duren, who's looked very well in his last couple of games. Jaden Ivey, GPP option for Killian Hayes. And then outside of that, I'm not going to mess with anyone like Sasser, Knox, Livers, none of those guys. None of them appeal or are eye-popping enough for me. Now, the Los Angeles Clippers taking on the Memphis Trash Cans. You know, I gotta stop being negative. I gotta talk positive about the league, because this is the sport that I love. And if I keep talking negative, it's not gonna do nothing but just give me negative output, negative games, and I'm not gonna have a good DFS day. I'm not gonna have a good prop day. So, no more negative comments after I make one more. All right, so looking at the Los Angeles Clippers, for them, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Paul George, all of them. What's the spread on this game? I'm like legit going to be following the spread. 8.5 spread, 8-point spread. So possibly it could be a good close game. So with the spread being actually that close, maybe we could take an option from this game. James Harden, he's definitely just found a way to go ahead and claw scratch, get his way there over the last couple games. Paul George, him as well. Again, like kind of like how I would do for the Chicago Bulls whenever it comes down to Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Vucevic. I'll take whichever one is lower of the own lower. I'll take the one that's going to be lower owned. That's how I would go through and look at them. And for right now, looking at ownership, James Harden is going to be lower owned. Sitting at A6, definitely don't mind hate or that or anything. Of course, Paul George, just because where he's slotted at in his price, 8.2, he's going to be the higher owned out of all of them. And then Kawhi Leonard, he's the runner up in regards to ownership, coming in right behind Paul George. So there you go. Definitely would take James Harden. Now, outside of that, don't mind looking at Zubac. He has a pretty good matchup going up against the Memphis Grizzlies, who legit cut Bismack Biyombo. They're running out Tillman and some other, I forgot who the other backup center is, and literally trash. So rebounds will be there. Putbacks will be there. Love the upside for Zubac. Definitely do not hate or mind him at all. Some value plays, some options that you could take. Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, definitely two plays I don't mind. Plumlee looks like he is back. Oh, shoot. Didn't even realize that Plum Dog was back. Plumlee, he's back. Not an option that we need to go to or anything like that. Nothing worth going there. Over to the Memphis Grizzlies side. Of course, with no Ja Morant, with no Marcus Smart now. Point guard duties. Really, I couldn't tell you who the point guard duties truly fall to. I understand that Desmond Bane, he's going to have an uptick in regards to his fantasy output and production and ball handling responsibilities again. But outside of that, it's kind of hard to imagine. Now, if they put Desmond Bane's turnovers up here on the board, I definitely will hop onto that quick, fast, and in a hurry. Outside of that, not really going to mess with too much, because I really don't know. If they start Vince Williams Jr., I'll have some interest there, just because the kid's a pretty good fantasy point per minute producer when he's on the court. 30 minutes, dropped 28 fantasy points, and I want to say he started in this Dallas game. 37 minutes, dropped 37.25 fantasy points against the Phoenix Suns. So I really don't mind him. And in the 22 minutes that he did play going up against the Clippers earlier, he dropped 15.75 fantasy points, and that was on 1 of 6 shooting. So we had a pretty bad shooting night. 1 of 4 from 3. So the upside is definitely there, especially for if he can go ahead and get his scoring going. We know he can play make. We know he can get some rebounds, things like that. Do like the upside for him. He would be probably the one play that I would actually take from over here, and that's especially if he does get the start. I just think that bolts him into a really good category right there. Outside of that, I'm not going to mess too much with the Memphis Grizzlies. I want to see how it shakes out for them again with all these injuries and everything that they're dealing with over here. So I'm not going to force anything from that team, especially not on an 8-game slate when we have so many other spots that we can go to and get stuff from. Now, Charlotte Hornets taking on the San Antonio Spurs, depending on if Melo is in or if Melo's out. If Melo's in, I couldn't imagine that he's exactly going to start, so I will still go with Terry Rozier for now. Even if Melo was in, I would expect and imagine that he would be on a minutes limit. We know opposing point guards have crushed going up against San Antonio Spurs. I see no reason not to go with that. These are two bottom teams. The Spurs have shown that they can keep games close over the last several games. I would imagine they will be able to keep this game close as well. Terry Rozier be the main primary play that I would want to get to, even if Ball is in or even if he's out. Outside of that, if Terry Rozier is going to be out, then of course we're going to have some interest in Miles Bridges, who we know is a very good fantasy point per minute producer, and the usage and everything that he has and brings to the table as well. Really do like the upside, and of course opposing power forwards have smacked going up against the San Antonio Spurs as well. Honestly, every position has smacked going against the Spurs, so I'm not going to keep on saying it, but main two plays I will go ahead and take if Ball is going to be out: Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges. Main two guys I go ahead and take. If Ball is going to be in, I still don't mind them. Honestly, if Ball's in or out, I don't give a damn. I'll take Terry Rozier and Miles Bridges. Both of them players are in play. Both of them players sitting at 8K. Pretty much really great spots. Actually, I want to see. Oops, wrong player. Don't want Gordon Hayward. Give me Miles Bridges. I'll take both of them and just see what I can actually get right here. I kind of imagine it and can see that I can really get a pretty good stack just taking these two guys right here. I really do like the upside possibility that they could bring in what should be a pretty decent game. Maybe take these as a off play and then go ahead and stack from this Indy and Atlanta game. And then of course, because it is the 8 p.m. game, the better of the last 8 p.m. games. Yeah, the better of the last 8 p.m. games. I really could see this being probably what you want to get. I really do like the upside for both those players right there, especially just the matchup period for them. On the Spurs side over here, Wemby, the dude continues to crush in limited minutes. 21 minutes, dropped 50 back-to-back 50 fantasy point games from this man. It is ridiculous. And again, he gets a pretty good matchup going up against the Charlotte Hornets, who bleed points to opposing centers. I don't mind it. If you can really honestly get a stack of Wemby, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, if you could somehow get a stack of this right here, find the value. I'm already going to go with one of my value plays that I was on as I was talking. Where did you go, Ken Whitmore? 4-9. Okay, I'm gonna play with that some more, but I do like the upside possibility for that. I could really see myself stacking the Charlotte and San Antonio Spurs game outside of what I want to get in this game. I'm gonna try to figure it out. But on Wemby, do like the upside, everything for him. Should be a pretty decent game, period for him. Even though he's playing limited minutes, which is just a crazy thing that he's doing this in limited minutes. They blew out the Detroit Pistons in the last game, so he didn't have to play his full 25, 26 minute limit cap that he has. So only imagine if he actually plays the extra 4 minutes, what he could have did. He probably could have got 60 fantasy points. Really do like the upside for him here. Don't hate, don't mind him at 9-1. I know it's tough. It is a tough pill to swallow when looking at Wembanyama, simply because you know he's on a minute limit. But the usage that he carries in the minutes that he's on the court is so massive that it kind of doesn't matter in regards to what the dude's going out there doing. Now, I will say, since he is still on a minute limit, and we know that John Collins is still going to be out, one player that we can take advantage of and is going to continue to get burned, and run, that's going to be Barlow. Dominic Barlow. He's going to continue to see his run, 22, 25-ish minutes, depending on how many minutes Wemby's going to play. As long as he doesn't get himself in foul trouble, he's good to go. Another player that we can go ahead and spec with. I definitely don't mind Barlow as a value play, honestly, wanting to get the stack right here. All right, the Golden State Warriors taking on the Chicago Bulls. To tell you the truth, really, the Warriors, they're just trash all around. There goes my last comment. But outside of that, Steph Curry, if you want to pay up for him, definitely going to need him to go ahead and lead this team. Curry, he's been trying, but back-to-back bad games definitely is a bounce-back spot for him to go in and have a good game with low ownership. Pod, he should see his minutes tick back up, especially with no Moses Moody. So I don't mind going to Pod as a possible play, and even if the game blows out, maybe they could actually give him some extended run, considering that he is a rookie. Andrew Wiggins, if they start him and he can maybe somehow tap into the old Andrew Wiggins, maybe you could touch that, but I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. And then everyone else, I'm literally, no one over here has any type of appeal to me from the Golden State Warriors outside of Curry and Pod. Like, that's it. Like, point blank, period. Not mess with that. Now, over here for the Bulls, with everyone being back, honestly, look at the ownership, figure out who's going to be lower owned. That's the one that I would go with. Kobe White, even with Zach LaVine being back, he's still playing very good. He's playing at a very great level. 43 minutes in the last game against Houston, dropped 50 fantasy points, 30 actual real life points. Zach LaVine, looks like maybe the Bulls are finally figuring it out. So I don't mind the upside for either one of these guys, but I would definitely just look to see who's going to be the lower owned out of this group, and just run with that player if you want to play something from the Bulls. But they're not a must by any means necessary at all. Orlando, I know I'm kind of speeding through this now, but these games right here, I really don't like any of these last couple games. Orlando taking on Miami, Paulo Banchero with no Franz and everyone else is out. Definitely don't mind going to Paulo. They've already played once this season. It was kind of a close game. Really wasn't too much to write home about. Bam Bam, don't mind looking at Bam. We know he's going to have the usage, especially if Hero was to somehow magically miss. I really do like the upside for Bam going up against backup centers pretty much. Definitely is a pretty good spot for him. Jaime Jaquez definitely owes a bounce back, especially after his last time playing against the Magic. Did not look good at all whatsoever when he was out there. But the player that I'm going to have to go right back to, and watched him play going up against my Thunder. He dropped, he looked very good. 32.25 fantasy points going up against the Thunder. Don't mind going back to Jovic. He let me down the one time that I ran him, which I ran him when he actually dropped that 10 fantasy points going up against the Phoenix. I just didn't understand it. 10. Good game, shit game, and then back-to-back good games. So he's probably going to come out here and have a bad game. But Nikola Jovic, as long as he's going to be starting, I really do like the upside for him. They're a pretty good spot. Don't mind going to him at all. And then the legit deep GPP option is Highsmith. I doubt this dude's going to go out here and drop 5 or 7 from 3 again. But the upside of it, I definitely could see going to it. I'm going to go with the safer play, and Jovic, that's going to be the one I'm going to want to go to. I'm not going to mess with the other half on there. And then if you want to mess with anything over here from the Magic, I definitely could understand coming down, maybe looking at the Chuma Okeke and Caleb Houston. Caleb Houston, last time out, 34 minutes, dropped 20.75 fantasy points. Chuma Okeke went out there, dropped 19.5 fantasy points in 27 minutes. Again, shot really bad. 1 of 10. 1 of 10. But if you're going to go out there, you're going to give me the rebounds, you're going to give me those assists, those blocks, things like that, the 3 points, so on and so forth. I do like the upside that you can actually bring if you can actually knock down your freaking shots. Portland taking on Minnesota. I want nothing from Portland, but I will tell you this is definitely a bounce back spot. If you think Portland can somehow keep this game close, unlike they were able to keep the game last night close, then by all means, go for anyone that you want to take over from Portland. On the Minnesota side, Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, both those guys will be in play. If Rudy Gobert is to miss, then Towns, that's pretty much like a no-brainer. But you should look to the players off the bench in Naz Reid and Kyle Anderson. Anderson got the start last time with Rudy Gobert being out. Did not disappoint. 39 minutes, 38.5 fantasy points. It should be much of the same if he was to get the start here again. Anthony Edwards, opposing shooting guards have smoke checked going up against Portland. If you allow Josh Giddey to go out there last night and drop a triple-double, imagine what Anthony Edwards, a player of his usage and caliber, can go out there and do against a weak Portland defense. Love the upside for him here at 8-9. Probably will be one of the more lower-owned studs that you can get to. Mike Conley, fully expect for him to play, so he's not going to be the main facilitator or anything like that again in this game. But Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, and if Rudy Gobert was to miss, Naz Reid, Kyle Anderson, both those guys are in play. Smadak. All right, guys, I'm going to get my player pool core, all that good stuff put up. Today is Flex Friday, so I will be dropping my protective flex slip. That will be posted as well. Going to go ahead and get into the lab for the props to get that ready, because we know that that's going to come out probably around 11 o'clock when they allow us to go ahead and secure it. If you guys don't have an account with PrizePicks or you want any of the accounts for the stuff that I use, check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit match bonus and also get the free weeks, promos, all that stuff for these sites. With that being said, it's your boy Zoe. Peace, good luck. Hopefully you guys cash out on the day.